How is it possible that a country with fewer than 4 million people is suddenly making the football world pay attention? How can a nation that was once devastated by war now stand shoulder to shoulder with some of the biggest teams on the planet? And even more surprisingly, did you know that this country is led by 3 presidents at the same time? Yes, 3 presidents. Not 3 vice presidents. Not 3 presidential candidates. But 3 actual presidents governing one country. That country is Bosnia and Herzegovina, a small nation in the heart of Europe with an incredible story of football, war, culture, resilience, and breathtaking beauty. And after drawing against Canada and defeating Qatar 3-1 at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Bosnia has once again captured global attention. But to truly understand why this achievement is so remarkable, we first need to understand the country behind the team. Because trust me, Bosnia is far more fascinating than most people realize. When people think about football powerhouses, names like Brazil, Argentina, Germany, France, and England usually come to mind. Bosnia is rarely part of that conversation. With a population of only around 3 million people, Bosnia is smaller than many major cities around the world. They do not have the richest league. They do not have the biggest stadiums. And they certainly do not possess the resources of football's traditional giants. Yet at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Bosnia has shocked many observers. They managed to hold Canada to a draw before defeating Qatar 3-1. Results like these have proven that Bosnia is not simply participating in the tournament. They are competing. For many fans, these may look like ordinary football results. But for Bosnians, they represent something much bigger. They symbolize a nation that continues to rise despite everything it has endured. Because Bosnia's journey has never been easy. And to understand that journey, we must first look at its painful history. Bosnia and Herzegovina became an independent country in 1992. Before that, it was part of Yugoslavia. When Yugoslavia began to break apart, a devastating conflict followed. Cities were destroyed. Entire communities were displaced. Millions lost their homes, and hundreds of thousands of lives were forever changed. One of the most famous events of the war was the siege of Sarajevo. The capital city remained under siege for nearly 4 years. Imagine living in a city where danger could arrive at any moment. For many Bosnians, those memories remain impossible to forget. Yet despite the destruction, Bosnia survived. The country rebuilt its cities. It repaired its infrastructure. And little by little, it began to move forward. But from the ashes of war emerged one of the most unusual political systems on earth. Let me ask you a simple question. How many presidents does a country usually have? Most people would answer 1. Bosnia is different. Bosnia and Herzegovina is governed by a collective presidency consisting of 3 members. Each president represents one of the country's 3 largest ethnic groups: the Bosniaks, the Croats, and the Serbs. All 3 hold equal authority. No one is permanently above the others. The chairmanship rotates among them on a regular basis. This unique system was created after the Bosnian War ended. The goal was simple: ensure that no ethnic group would dominate the others, because the wounds of war were still fresh. Many political experts consider Bosnia's government to be one of the most complex political systems in the modern world. Yet despite its complexity, it has helped maintain balance and stability in a country with a difficult past. And what's even more fascinating is that behind this unusual political structure lies one of Europe's most underrated destinations. When many people hear the word Bosnia, they think of war. But the reality is completely different. Bosnia is one of the most beautiful countries in Europe. The nation is filled with green mountains, crystal clear rivers, ancient towns, and landscapes that seem straight out of a fantasy movie. One of Bosnia's most famous destinations is Mostar. At the center of the city stands the legendary Stari Most, or Old Bridge. Originally built in the 16th century, the bridge was destroyed during the war. Later, it was rebuilt and became a symbol of peace and reconciliation. Today, it is one of the most recognizable landmarks in the Balkans. Then there is Kravica Waterfall, a stunning natural wonder often compared to a tropical paradise. Its emerald waters and surrounding forests create a scene that leaves many visitors speechless. Bosnia is also home to spectacular mountains, hiking trails, and untouched natural landscapes. And perhaps the biggest surprise of all, traveling through Bosnia is often significantly cheaper than visiting many other European countries. That is why many travelers consider Bosnia one of Europe's best-kept secrets. But nature is only part of what makes this country special. Its culture may be even more remarkable. Imagine walking through a city. On one side, you see Ottoman-style mosques rising above historic streets. On the other, you find elegant European cathedrals and grand Austro-Hungarian architecture. Welcome to Bosnia. More specifically, welcome to Sarajevo, a city often described as the place where East meets West. In Sarajevo's old quarter, known as Baskasija, visitors often feel as if they have stepped into the Middle East. Traditional markets line the streets. The aroma of Bosnian coffee fills the air. Historic Ottoman buildings stand proudly alongside centuries of history. But walk just a few minutes farther, and the atmosphere changes completely. Suddenly, the architecture resembles Vienna or Budapest. European-style boulevards replace narrow stone streets. The contrast is extraordinary. Few countries in the world blend cultures as seamlessly as Bosnia. Even its food reflects this unique identity. Many Bosnian dishes carry strong Ottoman influences while also incorporating European flavors. The result is a culture unlike any other on the continent. And that is exactly what makes Bosnia so unforgettable. So when the world watches Bosnia making headlines at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, it is not just watching a football team. It is witnessing the story of a nation that survived war. A country governed by 3 presidents. A place where Middle Eastern and European cultures come together. And a land filled with breathtaking beauty that remains largely undiscovered by the world. From the football pitch to the historic streets of Sarajevo. From the iconic bridge of Mostar to the country's magnificent mountains. Bosnia proves that the size of a nation does not determine the size of its story. Because sometimes, the smallest countries carry the most extraordinary stories. What do you think? Is Bosnia one of the most unique countries in the world? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories and hidden facts from around the globe.